everybody, and welcome to In My Mug, episode 235 on Monday the 13th of May 2013. I am your host, Stephen Layton, and this week I am spoiling you. I'm spoiling you with a very expensive, special, rare, unique coffee. But before that, it's time for the news! Check out the lovely new InMyMug.com website, designed to look all lovely and clean and fresh and tie in with the new website, obviously we had done a few months back. But also it's to get rid of Blip, who started to put ads on. We've gone to a different player now, which is a paid for option, costing me some money, but I don't want you to be sold to by anybody but me. So please let me know if there's any bugs, any issues, any problems. I know it's not perfect. I am no web designer. I've relied on the help of some people with some graphics, and I've had to do a lot of the back end stuff with Chris helping me out. So do let me know what you think and if there are any problems. I've got to edit some of the posts, so there's only, I think, the top 40, the last 40 or 50 which are updated, but the rest are going to come with time. New Costas, new Kenyas added this week. I reckon they will all be in my mug, so if you're a subscriber, hang on to your wallet. If you're not, then you should dive in. But there will be some new coffees coming on over the week, this coming week. I've got to get some on before I go to Australia a week on Monday, which is very scary. Oh, I forgot what the third one was. What was the third piece of news? Oh, the third piece of news was that coffees were coming on this week. I promised to get them up. Sorry, I'm a bit all confused. And that was the confused news. Yes, I'm stressed at the moment. Can you tell I'm stressed? I feel very stressed. Right, 20 seconds on. And this week it's going to be on the Tarazzu region of Costa Rica. Okay, so Tarazzu, over to you. Tarazzu is the name of the 5th canton, which is a division of the province of San Jose in Costa Rica. This canton covers an area of 297 square kilometres and has a population of 15,000. The capital city is San Marcos, which is where this coffee comes from. And there are 3 districts in the canton. Tarazzu is located 70 kilometres south of the capital city, San Jose, and is in a pristine valley surrounded by mountains. Surrounded by mountains. Its main source of income comes from coffee, but it's also avocado production and tourism. And between January to March, the population expands 3 times as much because of the coffee pickers coming into the area, and also increased tourism coming into the area at that time of the year. So yeah, a little bit more than 20 seconds there, as there always is. But it's good to kind of, look at these different little parts of it. So the coffee is La Pira, and it's located in the Dota Valley, very near to the town of what I said before, I've gone. Owned by a guy called Carlos Arena Cesalio, who has worked on the farm for 17 years, but has worked in coffee his whole entire life. Now, we first found this coffee back in 2009 in the Cup of Excellence. A couple of years of trying to track it down. Lots of hard work and lots of patience. I don't think I've worked as hard to get a coffee like this before. It really has been lots of begging and pleading with the exporters. But we eventually got there. And the reason why, because I can hear you screaming at me, why was it difficult to get, Steve, was basically it's such a small lot and it's so in demand that you kind of almost have to hustle your way to the front of the queue, and that's what we've tried to do. So the farm used to be organic, but they had to stop the organic part because of where the place is. It needs fertilisers and it needs things into the soil to balance it out. But Carlos still has this dream that he wants it to be organic. So like he has sheep that wander around eating all of the weeds, but weirdly, unlike goats, don't eat the coffee plants, which is very unusual to find these well-trained sheep. But the place is a real farm. There are real animals on there as well as coffee. So it's a subsistence farm as well as a coffee farm. Carlos is my kind of guy. He wakes up in the middle of the night, kind of questioning processes that they do, things that they do. I'm going to show you a video in a little while, but he felt that the cherries would be better if the water was icy cold. So he came up with this clever little way of water for the soaking of the cherries hitting this zinc roof, which cools it right down because the wind blows right through, and as it hits the cherries, it's icy cold. And, this is just something he saw and was thinking of. There's other parts like the sheep wandering around eating the weeds, which just shows that this guy thinks outside the box and doesn't necessarily do what everybody else does. He built a dryer out of an old oven and uses parchment, which is fairly standard, but this oven is like, it's a real engineer's kind of toy. He really has kind of gone to town on it all. So before we go on to do other bits, I want to show you this video. So this was a brief interview I did with Carlos when I visited the farm in January this year. So Carlos, over to you. Buenas tardes. That's as much as I'm doing in Spanish again. We're here in Dota, Tarazzu, on La Pira. And you guys know La Pira. I've been loving this coffee, been talking about it all year. And I'm finally here and joined by the producer and owner. So,
Mr. Carlos Ureña.
Mr. Carlos Ureña, because I knew I was going to get it wrong in the pronunciation. So, Carlos, what varietals do you have here on the farm? What do you currently have?
¿Qué variedades producís en tu finca?
Catuaí, Caturra, y típicas.
And how long have you been producing coffee here?
¿Hace cuánto producís café aquí?
Aquí produzco café hace
17 years ago.
17 years.
pero me crié de hace 50, 60.
But I was born in a coffee farm with my father 50, 60 years ago.
Okay, so you've spent a lot of time around coffee. What do you think about what you're doing now with the different processes? So we saw some naturals, some honeys, some washed.
Entonces tu vida ha sido una vida de café. ¿Qué sentís ahora que te has desarrollado tanto en diferentes procesos, lavados, honeys naturales?
Would that have been typical when your father was at it?
Sin ser algo muy típico en la época de tu papá.
Por la revolución del tiempo, la gente tenemos que ir cambiando.
Because of the evolution of time, we have to change.
Los tostadores nos van exigiendo y nos van dando ideas.
The roasters demand us and give us ideas.
Y para mí el café significa vida.
And for me, coffee is life.
Y me alegra bastante
And I'm very happy.
trabajar y saber que logro lo que yo más o menos he querido.
And I'm happy to know that I have been accomplishing whatever I've been committing with my goals.
And you have, by the way, been accomplishing your goals because the coffee is amazing.
Y definitivamente usted ha cumplido sus metas porque el café es impresionante.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've just seen the way that you process the coffee. Could you tell the people on the video just a little bit about why you do the things the way you do them here, and specifically with washing the coffee?
Usted hemos visto que maneja muy con excelencia sus procesos. Usted podría decir a nuestros clientes o sus clientes cómo es que maneja usted sus cafecitos, principalmente estos lavados.
Los cafés se manejan con mucho amor y mucho cariño.
We manage our coffees with a lot of love and a lot of care.
Yeah.
Y observando mucho detalle tras detalle.
And observing a lot, detail by detail.
Tratar de competir con el año anterior.
So we can compete.
Ir mejorando.
So we can compete in quality with the previous year for continuous improvement.
Yeah. No, I mean that's it. So what happens with the water? It comes on a zinc roof. Is that like to make it cold? And
At night,
and then it fills the tank. It's I'm going to show something on the video later. I was blown away with it. It's really, really interesting. Listen, thank you very, very much.
Muchas gracias.
The coffee.
El café.
For your time in your hospitality
Para su
today.
tiempo y hospitalidad de hoy.
And please keep doing what you're doing.
Y por favor, continúe haciendo lo que está haciendo.
Thank you. Al café le dedico las horas del día y parte de las horas de la noche donde me despierto a pensar un rato y analizar qué he hecho y qué hago todos los días.
Every day I dedicate lots of hours to coffee, in the day and at night. and I wake up at night to think what can I do better next day to do.
We share a lot.
Compartimos mucho en común.
Gracias.
I think that is brilliant. I'm very, very, very pleased with that. Some stats. The farm is called Pira, owned by Carlos Arena Cecilio in the Santa Maria de Dota, the Tarazzu region of Costa Rica. The farm is 7 hectares, has an altitude of 1,650 metres above sea level. This is a Caturra lot, and it is fully washed and sun-dried on patios. So now it's time for the map bit. It's the map bit. No expense spent. It's the map bit. So, time for us to go down to Has Been Towers and then to come back up. And we're going to go across to Central America. We're going to be spending a lot of time in Central America. And what we're going to be looking at today is the number of coffee growing countries, which is 7, which is all of them. A population of 41 million. And there you go, surface area, twice the size of the UK surface area. So, interesting little stat there. Half the 2/3 of the population, and yeah, twice as much land. But we're going to be looking at Costa Rica. So we can see there that you've got Bella Vista. Right next to Bella Vista is what we're going to be looking at, which is La Pira. But you can see you've got Delicho in the northern part. This is the southern Dota Tarazzu region. But the name of the country is Costa Rica. Population of 4.7 million. 51,000 square metres, and the capital city is, of course, San Jose, where over half the population live, as I said. As Roland said, or Roland will say in his daft fact. Oops, giving away the game there. So, we're going to look down, and we're going to go down to La Pira, which is in Dota Tarazzu. We should look at the farm details. Dale the cow is telling us it is called La Pira. Has an altitude of 1,600 metres above sea level. The varietal is Caturra. The nearest town is Santa Maria de Dota. And when we come out of here, if I can find a way of getting out, I will show you where Santa Maria is. That's Santa Maria there. So very close to the town. But we want to look at La Pira and look at that valley. So I think why this coffee is quite unique is, look, there's gaps either end of that valley, so the wind's going to blow through. Here's Carlos, me and Carlos, and this unique zinc roof thing that he has for the water. But that valley, I think, plays a huge part in this coffee. And that was the map bit. I hope you enjoyed that map bit. It is now time for Mr. Glue's Daft Fact of the Week. Roland's Daft Fact of the Week. 1/2 of the population of Costa Rica lives in the capital city. But that's not a coffee fact. So how about 78,000 people, that's 2% of the population, are coffee producers? Roland's Daft Fact of the Week. I think that's one of his better facts, don't you? Well done, Roland. You can have a gold star this week. So, the Wheel of Death. Last week we had French press. I actually been playing with those Espro presses a little bit more this week after they've been inspired by the Wheel of Death. Wheel of Death rarely inspires, apart from fear. But yeah, I've enjoyed playing with that. So, Wheel of Death, where it goes. Nobody knows and nobody cares. With sugar. Okay. Ugh, this coffee really doesn't need sugar. But we will get into why it doesn't need sugar in just a second, while I whap you on pause and go and make tasty and delicious drinks. And I'm back, and I'm going to dive straight into the espresso. Now this is why I love this coffee so much. This is why I put all the hard work into it. It is like a big bunch of flowers. Very few of you will have experienced this, but it's like walking into a field full of coffee blossom. It is just super floral. There's jasmine-y kind of loveliness going in there. But on the back, This is beautiful caramel. It is an amazingly complex espresso. And I know I say that a lot. This is as complex as it gets. This is absolutely delicious for me. Great coffee, well grown. I remember when I was on the farm, I always go around eating cherries. I'm just a sucker for it. And I ate the cherry, and it is the most delicious cherry I have ever eaten in my life. It was just absolutely amazing. Let's go to milk. It's just such a shame to cover that coffee in milk. Yes, it's coffee flavour there. Yes, it's milk, and it's nice. But I would rather have that espresso, and I would much rather have what I'm going to have now, because this is, I think it's a great espresso, and I think it's probably one of the best espressos I've had so far this year. It really is that special. But in this, I like my tin cup from Dale. I can make noises. It's clean. It's that floral thing comes through again, but it's sweet. The caramel is just over the top crazy, and it's just an amazing cup of coffee. It really is something that is. I know why I chase this coffee. I know why I spend so long on the telephone, on the email. Like every time I was on Skype, it's like, please can we have the La Pira? Please can we have the La Pira? Please can we have the La Pira? To the point I would just beat them to submission, like boring them to death. It's a great coffee. You have to. If you are not a subscriber, you have to try this coffee. You really do. Okay, onto the pinboard of doom. This week's comes from Graham Stewart. Graham wrote me, and he's got a lovely long email. Thank you, Graham. He's really got into coffee, how coffee drinking has changed his life after all the research. He likes everything on the website, and we love you too, Graham. Thank you very, very much for that. I love getting emails like that. They just make my day. And then when they're with lovely photos with scales and everything and bottled water, get in. That's exactly what you should be doing. If you don't have good water, bottled water is definitely the way to go. Right, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think about the new In My Mug website. I hope it's all working for you. I know a few of you had problems with the old one when we swapped to the new player. This is kind of, we've done it because we've done this upgrade, partly because it needed it, but secondly because I wanted to get it, I wanted to fix it because of those problems. So anyway, do remember, life is too short for bad coffee.